Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed, lab-proven to work fast, and proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
We deal in paint, pigment, light and shadow, realism, surrealism, impressionism, and ghost stories.
An interest in the oddball, a predilection toward the bizarre. And this place is nothing if it isn't bizarre.
There's no admission, no requirement of membership, only a strong and abiding belief in the dark at the top of the stairs, or things that go bump in the night. The name of this place, should you have come in here accidentally out of the ring, is the Night Gallery.
All right, welcome back, art lovers, to Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast. I'm Father Malone, and with me here in the gallery are, from Dreams for Sale, the Twilight Zone 85 podcast, Mr. Mike White.
Have we met before, monsieur?
And from Chronicles from the Crypt, the former casualty, Mr. Chris Stashew.
But what if we don't know if the doors are closed? If we could be good or bad?
Oh, we're going to get to that here. We are discussing Season 2, Episode 7. This one aired on November the 3rd, 1971, broken into two segments, Midnight Never Ends and Brenda.
Tonight's first selection, a painting suggesting solitude, or at least solemnity, as viewed during the midnight hour. It tells a tale of two young people caught inexorably in a recurring nightmare, with a finale on the jolting side. Our painting, with the somewhat familiar face, is called Midnight Never Ends, and this is the Night Gallery.
Now, Midnight Never Ends was written by Rod Serling, based on a half dozen or so earlier teleplays by Rod Serling, like Five Characters in Search of an Exit and A World of His Own. And it was directed by Jeannot Szwarc and stars Robert F. Lyons. Chris, he was in Transylvania 65000.
Mike hates that movie too, right? It's not just me this time around that you get to waggle your Transylvania 65000 wiener at.
You realized I'm outnumbered.
You are outnumbered this time. Heather Drain ain't here to help you, pal. And Trevor isn't either.
It also stars Susan Strasberg, daughter of Lee Strasberg, who starred in my favorite TV movie of all time, Mazes and Monsters, with Tom Hanks. And also stars Joseph Perry. It is the story of a motorist and a hitchhiker with the strange feeling that they've done all this before. And what is that strange clacking in the heavens? Mike, what'd you think of this one?
Oh, man. I could see that twist coming a mile away, and boy, oh boy, did I really want it to not be that twist. But it was, and I sat through it, and I'm mad.
How about you, Chris?
You know, Father Malone.
God, he's winding up.
Yeah, I'm winding up all right. I've been doing this for 8 years now, going on 9. It'll be 9 at the end of 2023. This may be one of the worst hours of anything I have ever had to watch for anything I've ever podcasted about. And you have been privy to a lot of bad stuff that we've talked about together, Father Malone. And we've been privy to bad stuff that we've all talked about together on the aforementioned Dreams for Sale. This is, without a doubt, one half of the worst episode of TV I may have ever seen, at least up until this point. This episode's twist is so foreshadowed, it's literally the painting. It's so fucking infantile in what the expectations are from you as an audience that they can't even be bothered with giving it an interesting twist. It is exactly what they say it's going to be. They don't even care about you as an audience enough to do something different other than exactly what you're expecting as an audience member. And the fact that it's Rod Serling, yeah, makes sense. Because at this point, Rod, I wish you would just go away.
That's mean.
Yeah, this episode segment is fucking awful. It's minimalist in a way that Marmalade Wine was, but it is as unsuccessful as the worst segment on the show, which is the next episode segment we're going to be talking about.
Just the central premise doesn't make sense.
Well, okay. Rod Serling's writing a script and we're watching it in real time. Cool.
But you wouldn't have your characters say, oh, he's going to open that door now, or try to predict the future. It just...
Is that why he's confused in the painting, is because the characters in the thing are getting autonomy of their own? Father Malone, tell us what you think, because you haven't weighed in on this nightmare yet.
I liked it.
No, you did not. You didn't. You're fucking joking.
No, I kind of did, actually. I'll tell you why.
You're going to have to, because I wouldn't believe you otherwise.
Okay. I mentioned 2 Serling scripts he wrote before that are basically the same thing. It's 5 characters in search of an extra, which is great. It's a great episode. There's no question.
Which is based on a earlier play,
yes.
Correct? 5 actors in search of an author or something.
Yes, exactly. And the other one was A World of His Own, where an author can create anything he wants. He records it on a piece of tape. Remember that? And at the end, they had that little bit where Rod Serling comes in. He's like, "This is all just a joke." He's like, you shouldn't say that. And he burns it up. The Keenan Wynn burns up the piece of tape and Rod Serling disappears. I knew where it was going and what it was going, but I just liked watching these people, and I liked those minimalist sets. Like, I thought it made more sense because it's a fragmentary world that these characters are living in, because the writer sucks and like just keeps rewriting them, and he's only ever rewriting them based on previous stories he had already included them in. So their confusion is, I think I was a spy, but then she was just in an earlier story that he also discarded. In that aspect, I really liked it because I understood why the characters, look, it doesn't make sense why they're suddenly conscious, because clearly somebody's writing them to say these things. So that's a conflict that doesn't make any sense at all. But the idea of characters becoming sentient to the point where they know how poor they are because of how poor their author is, I like that idea a lot. I don't think it works overall. I think there are some shots that are cool. I don't know. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you guys. I certainly I wouldn't say anything in the last season, the season 7 of Tales from the Crypt, is better than this thing. This 20 minutes of whatever. Give me that, Chris.
No, I will. I'm not even going to pretend like what you said is wrong. You're completely right. It's just this, what in anyone's mind, specifically Rod Serling, would lead you to believe that this is a story worth telling, though? That's what I don't understand. What is the point of this story for us to go, so when a writer is writing things, the characters have autonomy and remember? No, because that's just in this story, that's the case. This is not making some sort of grand ruling on fictional characters writ large. It's just this story. So it seemed like the twist was what they were trying to get to, and they worked backwards from the twist, which is not a great way to write a script. The twist maybe is organic if there is one at all. There doesn't have to be one.
I love time loop stories. And at first I was hoping that this was a time loop story. I was like, oh, cool. Oh, something different is happening this time. Okay. And so what's the trick? What's going on with this? And then when it was the character thing, one of my favorite movies of all time is John Pay's 1985 Crime Wave, which was released on video as The Big Crime Wave. And it's very much an author writing scripts. You get to see what's inside of like little snippets of scripts. He can write beginnings and he can write endings, but he can never come up with the middle. So he's very frustrated. And he comes up with 3 or 4 different sets of characters, and they are recast into different things. And you get to see Ronnie Boyle, the Elvis impersonator, and this story is this other character in this other story. Really well done. Like I said, one of my favorite things in the world. And then I see this and I'm just like, I've seen this done so many times, of these characters becoming self-aware and all these things, that I'm just like, it's not handled well here. I've seen it handled really well, and I've seen it handled in even like a Carol Burnett skit where I'm just like, okay, yeah, they are in control of the narrative type of thing. Interesting, but not good. And then usually I love Carol Burnett. I just want to put that out there. But then you get something like this. I'm just like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it the right way. Make it one or the other. Is he controlling them? Or are they controlling him? Are they sentient? Just, it was, I wasn't happy with this one.
Even that Will Ferrell movie is better than this, and it has its problems.
Stranger Than
Fiction. Yeah, it's the same premise.
That.
This character exists separate from stories, or in tandem with stories, or he's trying to figure that out, and how he exists. That's again, and there's something to be mined there. And it's not like this is like a blackout segment, and it's they didn't give him enough time. It's like half of the goddamn episode. It's 20 minutes, so. They had plenty of time. They paired the time looping thing with something else. And I think it's one high concept thing or the other. And together they just don't work very well.
I don't disagree with any of that. If you're taking this on face value as the segment that it is, then it is a failure. Okay. I enjoyed it, but that doesn't mean it is good. And I would recommend it. I'm just saying I enjoyed it. But if you view it through the prism of where Rod Serling is right now, it's great, because it seems like he's almost commenting on the fact that he keeps doing this. He doesn't even know where these characters are from anymore. He's just rewriting the same shit, and none of it's good. And where is his place in any of this? Like where he is in his career and in this series, and if this is him working out his demons about where he has found himself in the Night Gallery, that makes me like it a lot. It doesn't work as a segment, but as a socio-political examination of Rod Serling, I like it.
Hey, I appreciate writing things as catharsis, but what catharsis is there here? What are you getting at here? You can't write a coherent episode of your own show anymore? Yeah, we know. We're watching your show, dude. We're watching your show. We know it's not coherent. I like you said, what is he commenting on other than himself?
Look, yeah, it's indefensible as drama or as a piece
entertainment.
Right. As a metatextual comment on his own state of confusion, though, I think it soars.
But then we'll probably get an episode from him next time we talk about episode 8 that may or may not be good. So what is he commenting on other than he can't do it and he keeps not being able to do it? So what are you really commenting on, Rod Serling? I don't understand. I can't do it, but I'm going to keep not doing it and wasting your time.
Yeah, if this were this last episode, though, it would be great.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We ran into a similar thing on Barney Miller where they had Jack Sue. They had an opportunity for him to be done with the show and they didn't take it. And this would be, if this were Rod Serling's final moment on the show, then that would be a masterstroke, but it's not. So it's about as far from it being his last thing with the show as possible.
Yeah, let's just shuffle this down to the end of season 3 and then.
Question, could this have worked as a Twilight Zone episode?
It did. It worked a couple of times as a Twilight.
So there you go. I think it's also maybe the third or fourth retread of it is just old news now, dude. Come on.
Hold your horses, statue.
They're held.
Okay, because in each of the episodes, I'm trying to shine a spotlight on some of our lesser known members of the Night Gallery family. In this one, don't hold the next segment against him because his writing is not bad here. But I want to talk about Douglas Hayes because this is his last contribution to Night Gallery. He wrote and directed The Dead Man in season 1 and wrote The Housekeeper the Housekeeper's one with Larry Hagman, which was really fun and weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this guy, Doug Hayes, one of his first gigs writing and directing on television was for Circus Boy, which is a deep, deep cut for Monkees fans. Golan's as a little boy. He spent the majority of the 50s writing Rin Tin Tin, which is 46 episodes of that. He was actually nominated for a WGA award for that. He was also nominated for a WGA award for his work on Maverick, the original Maverick television series. But his relationship with Rod Serling began in the 60s on Twilight Zone. He directed The After Hours. He directed Eye of the Beholder. He directed The Invaders. And he directed my absolute favorite episode of The Twilight Zone, The Howling Man. When Twilight Zone went away, he started writing features and directing them. He wrote and directed Kitten with a Whip, the 66 version of Beau Jest, and then wrote the screenplay for Ice Station Zebra, which is a great fucking movie. Later on in his life in the 80s, remember that North and South miniseries? That was Douglas Hayes. He was a sculptor and a painter and a novelist. And he also produced Douglas Hayes Jr., who is an actor and writer, and he wrote a bunch of episodes of Farscape, Rockne O'Bannon's TV show, which is, to me, the gold standard in science fiction. Anyway, just wanted to shout out to Douglas Hayes, and I'm sorry, Mr. Hayes, because we're now going to talk about Brenda.
There's something rather remarkable in the scope of imagination peculiar to children. They project and dream and fantasize with beauty and simplicity and faith in a manner that somehow eludes us as we grow older. This is Brenda, and Brenda has a playmate. It comes to her in part because of loneliness. And what I wish for you is that you never get that lonely.
This was written by Matthew Howard, Douglas Hayes' pen name, based on the short story by Margaret St. Clair, who also provided the story for The Boy Who Predicted Earthquakes at the beginning of the season. And it was directed by Alan Reisner, who was also a Twilight Zone director. He did Mr. Denton on Doomsday. It stars Laurie Prang. She's 19 here. Glenn Corbett. He was Zephram Cochrane once. The OG Zephram Cochrane. Also, yes. Robert Hogan and Pamela Ferdin, who I think we're going to talk about a little because she is, I think, the best thing in the episode. And it's a real goddamn shame she's not the lead. It also stars a ghillie-suited trash heap. And it tells the story of a lonely young girl who's befriended by a creature who is just as misunderstood as her. Possibly. Or perhaps she's a fucking asshole and calls to... What'd you think about this one, Chris?
There haven't been a lot of things that we've watched that I would consider an affront to my ability to enjoy things. But Laurie Prang's performance in this is some of the most obnoxious acting choices I think I've ever seen in anything. The voice that she's doing, coupled with the dialogue that she's being asked to deliver.
Did you come that night when the tide was so low you could walk across it? Where all that scummy stuff was on at the bottom? Did you come there?
Along with a beyond meandering story that serves no purpose other than to, I don't know, frankly, show us that, yeah, like you said, assholes attract assholes. No shit, Sherlock. I wonder why or how anyone could have watched the dailies and said, yeah, this is okay. People aren't going to find this to be a complete nightmare to watch. But it is. And I have seen nothing else with Laurie Prang in it. I don't know if this is her je ne sais quoi. This is her thing. I don't know if this is what her acting stylings are. But this, I think, is for me the worst segment of this show up until this point. This is just some of the most horrific child acting that I've ever seen, and her dialogue just made me want to turn it off and say, Father Malone, I tried, but I just couldn't do it.
You missed your chance. You got one pass.
No, I didn't even want to take it. I suffered through this for you.
Okay. You let me know when you get to that point. How about you, Mike? What you think?
This was close.
Yeah. I really wanted to like this. I was so excited to see the prequel to the Pierre Malfait story in Kolchak that I was just like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. We get to see where he started from before he went to Chicago. This is great. And I was really hoping that he was going to eat this bratty little girl after she's teasing him and gets him in this like pit and everything. And then it just goes off the rails. It was already off the rails to begin with. It's such a bizarre story, this whole thing of the way that she's addicted to Pamela Ferdin, using that bizarro voice and all this stuff. And then suddenly this monster shows up and I'm like, okay, what am I watching now? I know I'm watching The Night Gallery, but this weird left turn, I almost got whiplash. And the creature's caught in the pit. I'm like, okay, is she going to feel guilty or something? Is she going to do something to this creature? The moment when she comes downstairs and her dad, who doesn't do anything other than yell at her, when her dad and the other guy are there with like torches in the living room, and I'm just like, what am I watching? Oh, this is not good at all. And then the whole her with the doors and what's good and what's evil, I'm just like, she needs to be put away. She is a complete sociopath. She doesn't know what's good and what's evil.
This was actually a prequel to the 4th episode of the 4th season of Sherlock, Mike. This is actually just Sherlock's long lost sister. And this is the island that she's stranded on with the giant trash goblin monster the entire time.
This is the actual mind palace. This is what the
well, that show goes off the rails for me, but yeah.
The father yells at her specifically about good and evil at one point. Like,
oh yeah,
there are two doors, one good, one evil. You can't make up for good with evil or evil for good. You got to pick one or the other. She picks.
But how do we know if the doors are closed?
They've had this conversation so many times.
There should have been a moment where they go out to look at the rabbits and they start talking about feeding the rabbits, and her dad just puts one in the back of her head.
Yeah,
because it's just like, what in God's name was anyone thinking when this character was concocted from the muck of the amniotic fluid of creation? Like, who was saying to themselves, I want to create the most obnoxious child character known to man? Like that, if that's not what their intent was, I can't imagine what they were thinking.
Either of you happen to read the short story by Margaret St. Now, most synopses you'll read will tell you it's exactly like what happens in Night Gallery, which leads me to believe nobody's read the goddamn short story, because she's a rambunctious young girl, not on vacation. She lives in like a 6-family community, and she kind of marches to her own beat, and nobody likes her, and she's very, very lonely. And then this creature emerges, who is probably a manifestation of either her loneliness or the fact that she's a child transitioning to an adult. So this monster menaces everyone but her, and then they capture it and they put rocks in it, and then she sits by it. A year doesn't go by, but she sits by it, telling it that she still loves it and will wait for it.
That seems like a nice story.
It's not spoon-fed to you. You just get the idea, and she's really, really straightforward about what is happening here. In the scene that Mike, that you're describing, when she's let the thing into the house and it's menacing by just standing there and doing nothing, and they're all freaking out and yelling at each other, the parents, my note was, what the fuck is going on in this house right now? Just what are they doing? He's got a flashlight on the thing, so it's immobilized, I guess. And then he has the wife go call the neighbor, who then takes his time to come up. This all happens in real time, by the way.
Yes.
And then the gun will do nothing. The gun will not stop it. But okay. So you're going to burn your house down? Like,
on the island for a while? We don't know. Apparently it has. These guys are, the neighbor with the rifle knows this thing, which makes it not part of the girl at all, just this monster that kind of comes. So our only clue as to what it is what the girl has told us it is. And every word out of her mouth makes me want to kill myself. Laurie Prank is 19 years old. Okay, I mentioned the other actress, Pamela Ferdin, who's in it. Pamela Ferdin was Lucy Winters on the Brady Bunch, Jan's friend. She was the voice of Lucy Van Pelt in basically any Charlie Brown special you've ever seen. She was in the Children Shall Lead in Star Trek. And guess what? She's actually 11 years old here, which is the age of these characters. And then they went, you know what? No, let's cast a 19-year-old and have her do a young voice and make all the weirdest methody choices instead. That'll endear her to the audience. That they didn't stack the deck against the character enough just by making her a total fucking asshole. Then they cast the most unpleasant actress they could ever think of. This is Alan Reisner's fault, I guess, the director of it. But I don't know. Let's lay the blame on everybody at Night Gallery. Unwatchable, man. I had to watch it twice because I want to be thorough for this goddamn podcast, but the second
Father Malone's at his wit's end here.
Yes.
I had the pass. You guys have it. I don't. And at one point, my girl Amber walked in. She hadn't seen any of it. And she walked in, watched it for 30 seconds, and turned to me and went, "Who is this horrible person?" And just walked out of the room. And I was like, so envious. As if that real-time battle with the monster that is not a battle at all. It's just them yelling at each other. And then they shake some torches at it. I do want to make one of those newspaper torches, though. That seems like a really irresponsible idea. That I like.
Oh, yeah.
But
nice and dangerous.
Especially indoors. Yeah.
Yeah, you're bound to burn your own damn house down before you burn any fucking giant turd with arms.
Oh my God. And what was like, I know the budget was bad, and I know it's just a ghillie suit on a giant frame or something, but
you're being generous to call it a ghillie suit. It looks like a bunch of trash bags. I don't know, what do you call this creature design? Swamp Thing adjacent, if Swamp Thing was viewed by someone who didn't have glasses on?
Yeah, and if Swamp Thing were played like they just skinned Jabba the Hutt and like put the trash bags on Jabba and shove it out there. That's what it was. And so anyway, my point earlier was like, we spend real time with them causing chaos and everything, but we also get how many chase scenes between these catch me, I bet you can't catch me. Why would it want to catch her? Even if its intent was to kill her, just being in the presence of her until you got to kill her would not be worth it. This is the worst character in the history of cinema, gentlemen.
I am inclined to agree with you. Like I was saying, I can't believe that anybody saw the dailies and was like, this is perfectly okay. Either somebody was asleep at the wheel, or somebody thought that this was going to be really funny if it made it to air.
Was that it? Was it irony? Was it just enjoying themselves? Like, I can't wait till this airs. I can't wait to annoy all of America.
That's the question I'm asking, because whoever was making the decisions, their opportunity to make decisions should be revoked. Somebody's asleep at the wheel. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm laying all the blame at Rod here, because this is obviously an author he chose, because he chose one of the other stories, and Doug Hayes is one of his pals from Twilight Zone. So I'm going to lay all the blame on them. And why? What is this? What was this?
I don't know. I don't even understand the ending. I don't understand what story were they trying to tell here? Because the short story makes sense. Got it. Yeah. But this, what did we even learn by the end? That if you're an asshole will also be found. You will find assholes in your life.
And they'll stone it to death and you'll yearn for it.
And is there like a time jump in between?
It's a year, because they give us the trees with the leaves, and then no leaves, and then snow, and then leaves again. And now she's back. And she's supposed like,
but to what end?
Yes. Nothing at all. Because
why does it matter? That's my question.
If it's a person who's feels disconnected, even if it's somebody who's an asshole and that's their rage, and now they've put their rage under this rock, and then they're like, but I still love you. Like, I'm waiting for I know you're there. And if I need you, you'll be there. That could have been a story too, but that's not what we got here. We just got a fucking asshole. I just hate her.
Brenda, what are we going to do with you? There's 2 doors, Brenda.
There's 2 doors. There's 2 doors in life.
Come on, Brenda. Yeah, he does yell at her a lot, doesn't he? Like,
oh my God, the dad is just, that's the crazy thing. Everybody in that family is just a fucking miserable shithead.
Yeah.
The dad is just like, you know what? I can understand why she's mentally unhinged. Her dad is pretty unhinged too. He's just screaming the entire time. Listen here, you dumb little bitch. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah. Chill out.
I don't know, though, if he's always been like that or if she just broke him, because she's so awful.
I got that. That the conversation on the beach, like how many times have I had to child, like, where did I go wrong? Like, I don't even want to deal with this. And all right, Brenda. Like, even he comes home that they've fended off the monster and buried it under stones, and they're walking home, and he sees her in the window. What are you doing up there, Brenda? I just want to know what you guys are up to. If I think you need to know, I'll tell you.
I guess he must just be at wit's end.
Yeah, pushed to the limit by Brenda. We all were, and we only had
God, yes.
What I don't understand is how are we jumping a year forward in time and the dad hasn't just murdered her?
That's it. That it turns out it's her gravestone. right?
Or it should have been a year later, and it's her grave next to the creature's grave, and the dad just being hauled off to jail.
Even that would not justify the previous whatever that we had to watch.
Ultimately, they needed another segment to go with the Midnight Never Ends segment, but why did they even film this? I genuinely, the fact that we can't even suss out what the point of this was, I think is just shocking to me.
If they had put this as the first segment and then followed it with The Devil Is Not Mocked, I would love The Devil Is Not Mocked.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. Yeah. It would have been like the best reprieve known to man.
Oh, I get to spend time with Dracula. Thank God.
Yeah. As opposed to the walking trash bag. Yeah. And again, like even with how terrible she is, like the creature design is an affront in and of itself.
It's
like,
not very forgivable, is it?
No.
It's just like what Mike, like you mentioned with the Pierre Mauffe from Kolchak, like we dragged that in Kolchak.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and then, you know what? It was well lit here. It's like out in the open, walking around,
showing every defect.
At least don't light it very well, for fuck's sake. Keep it in the dark.
Yeah.
Over and over. It's a conversation between her and the thing. We need to see. Give it some eyes. Give it some facial features of some sort.
When I first saw it, other than Pierre Mauffe, the first thing I said was, it's a shambling mound. That's what it looks like, is the old D&D shambling mound.
In the short story, she comes upon it, and it's completely humanoid. It's just a mossy thing with eyes, and it has a dead bird in its hand. It has digits, and it's just a weird creature. I don't know why they didn't just take some skinny guy and slap a bunch of mud on him and go, there it is. There's the muck monster.
Could have been the guy from Twin Peaks season 3. It could have been like, want a light or got a light. Sorry.
Whichever.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Father Malone, for sharing this with us. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, by the time this was over, I was like, I can't believe it, but this may be the bottom of the barrel.
Remember season 7 of Tales from the Crypt? Right back at you, baby.
I think this might be worse.
No, just for sheer volume.
That's fair. This is only 20 minutes.
Just week after week. This, you guys watched it once and you were happy that it was over.
Yeah, this was like what the happiness came from the lack of.
Oh, I don't have to do that again. Whereas I was like, oh,
fuck.
If hell exists, hell is just having to watch this episode on loop.
Yeah. It's just Lori playing scenes, just her voice over and over again.
If this seems like the bottom, we can only go up from here.
No, kill it with fire.
God, burn it. Just make sure it never comes back.
All right, we're going to play a preview for the next episode, and we'll be right back to wrap up.
Subject, a common enough item utilized by teenagers and tycoons. The daily journal in which we notate the happenings of our day-to-day existence. But in this instance, a unique periodical that doesn't record what was, but rather predicts what will be. Its title, The Diary. It's our initial offering in the Night Gallery. Our painting reminds us that there's a strange fascination to digging holes alongside ancient oaks. You give the average man a shovel and an X on a map, and the fantasies come thick and fast. Pirate gold, hidden Confederate treasure, and sometimes the unexpected, and sometimes the unwelcome. Hence the title, Big Surprise. Our final offering, a study in depth of a gentleman from the Academe, seen here at the lectern, delivering a most scholarly treatise. This particular class, I don't think you'll want to cut. The painting's title, Professor Peabody's Last Lecture.
That's right. On the next Midnight Viewing, we'll be taking a look at Season 2, Episode 8. That's broken into 4 segments. Thank God. Those are The Diary, A Matter of Semantics, Big Surprise, and Professor Peabody's Last Lecture. This is my favorite episode of Night Gallery we're going to be watching, and it contains my single favorite segment of the entire series.
Wow.
No pressure, gentlemen. Until then, where can people find you, Chris Stashu?
WeirdingWayMedia.com. That's where you can find this show, Father Malone's show, Mike White's show, all the shows. All of them can be found at WeirdingWayMedia.com. And if you can't find them there, you probably shouldn't be listening to them.
Do I have to ask you, Mike?
No.
Right on. Thank you all for joining us here at Midnight Viewing. Go to weirdingwaymedia.com, and the gallery is closed.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.